Hello and welcome to another installment of the Pug's Thoughts in the Doghouse. I'm Pug, and here's what I'm thinking. Well, I made a mistake, and so I need to correct it. I said in my previous video, and also some videos in the past, that ever since the realignment, the NFL's alignment in 2002, that a representative from the NFC West has won at least one playoff game. That is not true. I did some research because we're going to talk about the NFC West this time around. And in 2003, the St. Louis Rams and Seattle Seahawks clinched berths to go to the playoffs, and they both lost their games. St. Louis lost to Carolina in the divisional round, and Seattle lost to Green Bay. So I was incorrect about that. Now, since that's off my back, we'll talk more about the NFC West in just a second. But the Seattle Seahawks, man, yesterday against the New Orleans Saints, I mean, well, let's just start off with this. Let's just start off with this. I don't own this; it's just being used for fun, but it's a nice way to open up what the Seattle Seahawks did yesterday.
Crowd silent now, as opposed to when the Saints have the ball. Oh, look at this run! What a run! Marshawn Lynch still on his feet. Has blockers now. He's dancing his way to the touchdown. Watch him cut it back, and you're going to see all kinds of people sprinting down the field to help him. He breaks the tackle of Shanley, runs through Sharper, runs through Adele, runs through Jabari Greer. Get off me, he says to Tracy Porter. Look all the way down the field, Hasselback, all the offensive linemen. Are you kidding me? Columbus is down the field. 78, Columbus, the offensive guard. The quarterback, Hasselback, was 30 yards down the field. Look at the hustle by Columbus. Here he is right here. Hasselback, Michael Williams, Locklear. Look at that. Locklear and Hasselback coming up from behind. Are you kidding me? Alex Brown. I don't know how many missed tackles and broken tackles were in there. I think at least a half dozen tackles that Lynch broke. He broke at least a half dozen tackles on that run.
Wow. What a run. What a run. That play is going to go down as one of the best plays in Seattle sports history. I know that was just a playoff game. It's not the Super Bowl, but every single Seattle fan is getting chills watching Marshawn Lynch run 67 yards to the house to score that touchdown. That's going to join Seattle Mariner plays like Edgar Martinez is hitting the double in 95 against the Yankees. Carlos Guillen's bunt in 2000 against the White Sox. When Alex Rodriguez struck out for the Mariners to get 116. For the Seattle, it's going to join plays like It's going to join Seattle supersonic plays like when Sean Kemp dunked over Dennis Rodman in the 1996 NBA Finals when the Sonics were playing Chicago. It's going to join a ton of University of Washington football highlights, and there's so many that I'm only going to list one, and that was when we took down USC in 2009. We pulled a huge upset. And, for the Seattle Seahawks, that play is going to join Seattle Seahawks plays like all the plays that happened in 2005 when we were going to the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship game. It's going to join the Tony Romo botched snap that following year. And it's going to be a heck of a play. And, man, everybody is going to be watching that for a very long time. So go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. The Seattle Seahawks are playoff worthy. This is from the Seattle Times, and that's Marshawn Lynch carrying the ball. And so we don't know who we're going to play yet. I'm currently watching the Green Bay Packers and Philadelphia Eagles, so we'll look toward next week. But bottom line is the Seattle Seahawks, they got it done, and they pulled off probably the biggest upset in the NFL since Tom Brady lost and the New England Patriots lost to the New York Giants in the Super Bowl a couple years ago when the Patriots were going for perfection. No ifs and buts about it. So with that leads to talking about the NFC West. Now, I made my correction, but with this win, a team from the NFC West has shown that they can compete in the playoffs and they can win big games. So I did some research, and ever since the realignment, with the exception of 1 year, a team from the NFC West has won at least one playoff game. And it's because of this why I say, for the umpteenth time, people need to stop harping on the NFC West. As bad as it is, we have shown time in and time again that we can be competitive and we can win big games like this. Let's go over the teams who have gone to the division champions. 2002, or teams that have gone to the playoffs from the NFC West. 2002, the San Francisco 49ers, they get the division, they take down the New York Giants in a miraculous comeback. Okay, so there you go, there's that. And then you got St. Louis and Seattle in 2003. You know, as I said before, they didn't win their playoff games. But then since 2004, St. Louis defeats Seattle before losing to Atlanta in the next round. The next up, you got the Seattle Seahawks Super Bowl year. Who did the Seahawks have to take down in order to get there? Well, let's start off with the Washington Redskins, a legitimate opponent at that time from the NFC East. A very streaky team, very competitive team. They had already won one road game when we played before we played them. They also took us down in Week 4 earlier that season. So there's a legitimate opponent there. Up next for the Seattle Seahawks, the Carolina Panthers. They were known as the Road Warriors. They took down the New York Giants in their first game, the Chicago Bears in the second game, and they also had Jake Delhomme and Steve Smith in their prime. Seattle Seahawks beat them. Look at 2006, Seattle Seahawks get the division again. Then we end up taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And there was all this controversy of how Dallas is a better team and how they had a better record than the Seahawks going into that playoff game. And the Seattle Seahawks won the game. They won the game. They took out America's team, quote unquote. I'm not going to go into that again. Next year, 2007, Seattle Seahawks clinched the division, and the Washington Redskins are our playoff opponents. And everybody was saying, "Oh, how great the Redskins are this year! They are streaking into the playoffs, and how they're going to come into Quest Field and they're going to just romp over the Seahawks." Nope, that did not happen. The Seattle Seahawks ended up winning. The Seahawks ended up getting drilled by the Green Bay Packers, but my point is, they won at least one playoff game. Now for the last 2 years, the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, the little Arizona Cardinals. Nobody gave them a chance when they went to the Super Bowl. And look who they took down to get to the Super Bowl. They took down the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan had a heck of a rookie year. They had an unbelievable running game. That's the Falcons. They had a running game at that time. Arizona takes them down. Then Arizona travels to Carolina to take on the 14-2 Panthers. And they ended up drilling the Panthers. Picked off Jake Delhomme 5 times. So then they host the NFC Championship game. Who did they take down? They beat the Philadelphia Eagles in a rejuvenated Donovan McNabb. Don't get me wrong, I like Donovan McNabb, but nobody gave them credit at all with the way the Eagles were playing at that point in the season, and they still won. And they almost beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Very close to beating the Pittsburgh Steelers in the Super Bowl. Now look at last year. The Arizona Cardinals defeated the Green Bay Packers. A team at that time had one of the best defenses in the league. They got off to a tough start, but were able to clinch a wild card, and that game was a shootout. It was a shootout. Arizona ends up winning in overtime. And now this year, when the Seattle Seahawks become the worst team in NFL history to clinch a division title, we not only take down the New Orleans Saints, we not only win a game, but we take down the defending Super Bowl champions. The defending Super Bowl champions. I don't even know how the saying goes, but the Seahawks say they're going to beat them Saints. And they did. And to top it off, this is from ESPN, and this came out after the wild card games happened yesterday. Ever since 2005, the NFC West is a combined 9-5 in the postseason and has won at least one postseason game and has a collective .643 winning percentage in the NFL. That's best in the NFL. Okay, that's better than the AFC North with a winning percentage of .625. That's also better than the AFC East with a winning percentage of .533. All the rest of the divisions are under 500. NFC South, 462. NFC East, 450. AFC South, 438. And then the NFC North and AFC West, 400. So what do we really need to do to get some respect? I mean, yeah, if you want to say the NFC West is the worst regular season division, okay, fine, go ahead and say that. That's a legitimate argument, but just to say it's a terrible division when we can come up and we can win big games like yesterday, come on. What do we need to do to get some respect? Ever since 2004, a representative from the NFC West has gone to the playoffs. And ever since the realignment, there has been only 1 year where an NFC West representative has not won a playoff game. We've shown time and time again that we can compete on the national stage and we can win big games like this. If you are a Cardinals, Rams, or 49ers fan, you better, I understand you may hate the Seahawks, but really, look what they did for your team and look what they did for the division. They continued to make the case that people should stop harping on the NFC West. People should stop harping on it. And even though all the teams were under 500 this year, ultimately what the NFL wants is they want every single division to be as interesting as possible because that means they'll make more money because more people will pay attention. Well, look, they're getting that right now. They're getting that right now with the Seattle Seahawks. The fact that a team combined playoffs and regular season is 8-9 is going to the next round, and they took down the defending Super Bowl champions. So people really need to lay off the NFC West. Okay, go Seattle Seahawks. Bring on either the Falcons or the Bears. I'm currently watching the Packers and the Eagles game right now, so we'll figure out what our next opponent is. And who knows? We just took down the Saints. Maybe we can take down another one. The bottom line is, once again, the Seattle Seahawks have shown the world that they can compete at the national level and big level and win big games. And they have also gone in the streak. They continue the streak for NFC West teams to keep being successful in the playoffs. Once again, maybe we're a terrible regular season team, but when it comes to the postseason, we're wild cards. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time here on the Pug's Thoughts in the Doghouse.